Hey everyone, Antipredator 1M here. I want to talk about the concept of why so many specialists in education are actually very bad at general wisdoms. And people, for example, who write really, really good poems or are electrical engineers or have some sort of specialist field which they're really good at. But at the same time, bad thinkers at general wisdoms and even in their own lifestyle choices. So they might, for example, be irresponsible and have a lot of children or not know much about veganism or be unkind to people generally in the course of their everyday motivations and actions. I'm the first one to admit that education is probably a good thing, but it really depends on the type and quality of that education. And so we see in poets who are published in some of the top journals, such as Cordite or Quadrant, uh, and the philosophy of Quadrant itself as an ideological magazine. There is so much deficiency in the general wisdoms of these publications and of the poets that are published as well. So poetry is a pretty main kind of, it's pretty hardcore when it comes to general wisdom because you got to generalize a lot in making poems. So surely you would think that a lot of the poets or all of the poets are wise people in general. Not this, but this is not the case. And I think we need to make a really strong distinction between the cogitative abilities of our scientists and artists and educated people and the wisdoms of the same people and the degrees of wisdom. Because there are so many cogitatively bright people who are not also wise people. So I'm going to examine this. One of the things I want to think about is the universities, because the universities have who award degrees and who create the formal systems and curriculums for students to go through and have to qualify through. They have a monopoly on the education system. So although not every university is the same, there are some really, really good or really prestigious universities and some less prestigious. They all have the same basic idea of you learn this subject, you get a degree, and you are able to use that degree in your future, your job, your career, etc. And the content of that uh, curriculum is often sort of rote learning, sort of not entirely anymore, but well, depends on a lot of things. But there's a lot of rote learning. Perhaps there's a lot of things which are not based on kindness. So, for example, you might have biologist students doing vivisection or something like that, or you might have other ways that people credit your opinion, even though it's not a wise opinion. So people justifying the idea that climate change isn't real or something. So there are all sorts of exceptions to what is what should be accepted as general wisdom. So dialectical analysis and textual analysis are very important for understanding the entire sphere of wisdom on this planet. Dialectics and textual analysis. Dialectics is basically the science of interpretations. So you are asking what does your opponent, what does your adversary, your nemesis even believe that you don't believe, and how do you analyze that, and how do you come to conclusions based on a dialectical analysis? It's very important. Textual analysis, I don't know if that's a commonly accepted or academically accepted distinction between dialectical and textual, but textual analysis, in my view, is looking at text and analyzing whether it is coherent and whether it's consistent and whether it's logically interpreted. So these are all very important subjects when it comes to general wisdom. I mean, there's a quote by one person, just one person, that says, "The longer I think what intelligence means, the longer I think that it means that how kind people are to each other or to other people." So, the idea of kindness is certainly there. It's certainly hovering around like a fly or like a butterfly, but it is not universally accepted by universities. And I think we have to come much further and get the universities to agree that kindness is like the ultimate goal of education. Look at all the figures that we revere as a human species. People like Jesus Christ, people like Albert Einstein, Mohandas Gandhi. There are so many others, and not all of these people are accepted as being perfectly wise people. Jesus Christ made a lot of bad decisions, but he's so revered because of his charisma, and that's what is ironic about the human species, is that we revere people who are not perfectly good people, but have charisma to them and inspire us in almost often in evil ways as well as good ways. So it's very ironic. Then take someone like Albert Einstein, and I think that he's a really good example because he said a lot of things and wrote a lot of things which are really, really wise, not only in physics, which is most renowned for, but also in what you might call humanities or wisdom or even ecology. I don't know if he was much of an ecologist, but certainly in his day he knew that, for example, he supported socialism, so he was politically aligned with socialism. He wrote a paper called Why Socialism, and that's quite famous. And that agrees very much with what I believe as a wise person. He also rejected Zionism, so he was against being the head of state of Israel when it was first formed, because he didn't believe that the Israelis deserved their own sanctified, heaven on earth. And this is the case today, that Israeli people are, or the Israeli government are being obnoxious against the Palestinians. So Albert Einstein was very foresightful in understanding these things, and he was, in my opinion, a wise man, a very wise man, or quite a wise man, in fact. He also played the violin as a hobby, and there's a famous photo of him sticking out his tongue, which is which shows that he has a playful personality and obviously a great imagination as well. So I believe that Albert Einstein was deeply concerned about peace, but probably he did not write enough about wisdoms, and he probably could have been a great religious leader or spiritual leader, I should say, and have more than quotes for people to extract from his thinking, because that's all we have. We have a lot of people quoting Albert Einstein and say, Albert Einstein said this, he said that. These are just quotes extracted from his cognizance. And how valuable they are is here and there. He could have said a lot more and done a lot more impact, had a lot more impact with his general wisdoms, but he didn't do that. And there are plenty of examples of great people who've achieved a lot, who have been failed by the universities and have also even failed in society. Vincent van Gogh or Nikola Tesla. I just read about Tesla, who died very poor and gave a lot to society. Galileo, Galilei, and all these people, they were oppressed by society. So wisdom is wisdom is not so much how society treats you, but how you treat other people and how kind you are to other people. So I hope you've learned something in this video. I hope that you understand the origins and the concepts of why smart people are not always wise people, and why that's one of the hugest ironies of living as a human being in the 21st century. Alright folks, I will see you next time, and bye for now.